Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good day, wherever you're joining from, and when you're joining. This is Transformation Experience with Dr. DTO. Let me ask you, let me start by asking you this morning, this afternoon, I don't know. The question is, have you ever wondered why some people pray, attend conferences, read books, join coaching programs, and still feel stuck? Have you ever said, I know what I should do, but I can't seem to do it? I thought I was over this, but it keeps showing up again. Why do I keep reacting this way? Many times, the issue is not lack of information, the issue is unhealed wounds. And this is where trauma informed coaching becomes important. Today, I want to help you understand what trauma informed coaching is and why it matters and how it creates a safer pathway for healing and transformation. Because healing is not just about changing behavior. I think you know that by now. Healing is about understanding what happened, how it affected you, and how it moved forward, how to move forward without shame. So, once again, welcome back, family. For those joining us for the first time, this is Transformation Experience. I am Dr. Oyindamula Okenla, otherwise called Dr. DTO or Coach DTO. I'm live with you today. If you are watching in real time, I want you to drop in the comment where you're joining from. I want to see you. And today, we are talking about something I get asked about constantly. What is trauma informed coaching? And why does it matter so much for your healing journey? Before we talk about trauma informed coaching, what is trauma? I want us to first talk about trauma. Many people hear the word trauma and immediately think about war, violence, abuse, or disasters. Those are certainly forms of trauma. But trauma is broader than that. Trauma is not only what happened to you. Trauma is what happened inside you because of what happened to you. So two people can experience the same event and have completely different responses because we are not the same. One can recover quickly, the other carries the impact for years. Why? Because trauma is deeply personal. It affects how we think, feel, trust, connect, and view ourselves. Sometimes trauma comes from major life disruptions, divorce, betrayal, abandonment, loss of loved ones, job loss, serious illness, childhood neglect, growing up in unpredictable environments. Sometimes trauma is not one dramatic event. Sometimes it's years of emotional injury, 1,000 small cause that never had the opportunity to heal. And sometimes it's just witnessing something. Like I was traumatized because I witnessed an accident. I was traumatized at one time because I was attacked by armed robbers. So anytime I see some movement, I cringe, I would just cringe. And because today I want to talk about healing, I'm giving you the word anchor. So I'm using the word anchor, ANCHOR, to teach today. I want you to type in the comment anchor. Okay, if you are ready to receive this teaching today, I want to type ANCHOR, anchor. Okay, so what is anchor? So the A in anchor stands for acknowledge. Before we define anything, I want to be honest with yourself, okay? Have you ever tried to change a pattern, set a boundary, build a new habit, or felt like you are fighting yourself the entire time? That's resistance. It's not a character flaw. It is information. Honestly, acknowledging your story is where every real transformation begins. So the first step in healing is what? Is acknowledgement. Many people spend years minimizing their pain. They say it wasn't that bad. Other people had it worse. I should be over this by now. Or somebody is telling you, you should be over this by now. But healing begins when we become honest. Acknowledge what happened, okay? Acknowledge the impact, acknowledge the loss, acknowledge the disappointment, acknowledge the wound. This is not about living in the past. It is about telling the truth about the past. Because what remains hidden often remains influential. And let me just say this, what you bury alive does not die, it waits. And eventually ask to be addressed sometime later. So I want you to write something in your journal, whatever it is. I'm asking you a question right now. What experience in your life have you minimized that may still need healing? And I want someone to just write in the comments. Tell me, what is one pattern you have been fighting that you are ready to finally acknowledge? Write it. It's a teaching program, okay? So I'm doing teaching, live teaching, okay? Before we move to the next one. So what is the next one in Anchor is N. And what does N stands for? You know, number one is acknowledge. What is number two? Number two is name the pattern. You know, trauma-informed coaching shifts the question from what is wrong with you to what happens to you and how is it still shaping you today. Your self-sabotage, your people-pleasing, your fear of conflict, these are not random, okay? They are patterns with a history. When you name the pattern loses its grip on you. So, like I said, after acknowledgement comes the naming, which is N. Many people, for instance, know they are hurting but cannot explain why. Why are you irritated? Why are you nasty sometimes? Why are you doing things that you regret all the time? Sometimes we feel overwhelmed, anxious, angry, disconnected. You know, those are symptoms of something that is fundamentally wrong. Why are you angry all the time? Why are you disconnected? Why are you emotionally exhausted? But the truth is, most times people cannot identify the wound underneath. Naming brings clarity. Was it rejection, abandonment, betrayal, shame, grief, fear, loss? What is it? Naming the wounds will help you to understand the reaction. Because when you cannot name something, it will control you. Confusion keeps pain hidden, and clarity brings healing into view. Let me give you an example. A person may think they have an anger problem, but really underneath the anger may be unresolved betrayal. Until betrayal is identified, the anger keeps showing up. You may cover it, but it will show up. So let me ask you this question, even as we continue. What wound might be sitting underneath your current struggle? What wound might be sitting under your current struggle? I want you to think about it and write it down. And somebody, I want you to name it, okay? You are realizing your pattern as a history, so you have never connected before. So I want you to think about it. Okay, let's move on. The next one is C. What is C in the anchor? C stands for care. Care for the wound. This is where trauma-informed coaching becomes different from generic self-help. We do not skip past the wound to get to the strategy. We care for it first. Healing what you have been carrying, okay, is not weakness. It is strategic strength. You cannot build a sustainable future on top of an unhealed, where the scripture says you cannot put a new wine in an old bottle. So something like that. So you have to take one off. You have to peel the layers, okay, to get to the deep. So this is where trauma-informed coaching differs from many traditional approaches. It recognizes the importance of compassion. Many people have spent years criticizing themselves, they become their own worst enemy in passing somewhere. I said that many people can talk bad about you, but don't talk bad about yourself. So they become their own worst enemy. They shame themselves for struggling. They judge themselves for being emotional. They condemn themselves for not recovering faster. Healing does not grow in the soil of self condemnation. I want you to realize that. Healing grows where care exists. So, how much do you care for yourself? And when I'm talking about care, what does it mean? What does care mean in this instance? It means giving yourself permission to heal, giving yourself grace, respecting your healing process. Like I said earlier on, no two people are the same. But somebody can heal like 6 months, 2 months. Some people can heal 1 year, 2 years. So respecting your healing process, being patient with yourself and treating yourself with the same compassion you would offer someone you love. Think about it. If you have a child that does, something bad and you are trying to help them, get over it. You're showing them compassion, you're loving them, showing them love and all the rest. The same thing, the same measure you give others, first give to yourself, because the same comfort you have received is what you can even extend to other people. Okay, so you cannot hate yourself into healing. You have to love yourself into healing. Let me show you something in the Bible. In Psalm 147 in verse 3, he says, he heals, God, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. You see, that is caring, that is compassion there. God does not shame the brokenhearted. He heals them. And I remember when I was brokenhearted, God didn't condemn me. He didn't judge me. He was compassionate to me. Okay, he was caring enough for me, and he told me, "I care for you. I will take care of you." And he also told me at a point in time, "You are not a trash. You are a treasure." So God does not shame people. So don't shame yourself. Let me ask you this. How do you speak to yourself when you make mistakes? We all do make mistakes. Sometimes, genuinely or ingenuinely, whatever. Do you speak to someone you love that way? So let me ask you, and I want you to write it in your journal, okay? If you are caring for a wound today, instead of rushing past it, type "still healing" in the comments. And I see you. Type "healing," "still healing," okay? So let's move on. What is age? It means heading in a new direction, in a new way, in the new direction. More safety and healing are in place, okay? Direction becomes possible. This is discernment, real decision making, real boundaries coming from a regulated, healed place inside of you, instead of pure reaction. So you are not reacting. Healing in this instance does not only, understand the past. Healing also involves movements. We are moving. I think it was last week we were talking about shift, and I was talking about motion without movement. So healing also involves movement. Okay. At some point, you must begin taking a new step. You have to take a new step. You have to take new steps. You have to take new steps, new boundaries, new choices, new beliefs. Because let me tell you, some of our choices, our beliefs are what got us to where we are. So you have to change it. You have to change it. New habits, new relationships, new perspectives. The goal is not to stay permanently focused on what's happened. That's the emphasis. The goal is to move toward what is possible. Trauma may explain your behavior, but it does not have to define your future or confine you to the past or to anywhere. So understanding your history is very, very important. Remaining trapped in it is not. For instance, someone abandoned in childhood may fear intimacy. Healing involves learning to trust again in healthy relationships. That is heading in a new direction. So another question, because we always have questions at the end of that each section. What new step is healing inviting you to take? And I want someone to comment new direction. If you are ready to stop reacting and start directing your life on purpose, I want you to write it out. New direction. Write it in the comment. New direction. Okay. So we are moving. So What is the O? O stands for own. OWN. Own your past. Own your part. Own your part. Okay? Ownership becomes real the moment you take ownership, not of what happens to you, but of what you do next. This is where you stop outsourcing your healing. You can't outsource your healing to circumstances or other people. No. And start leading your own thoughts, choices, and boundaries. Let me tell you, ownership is powerful. This is where healing becomes transformation. You may not be responsible for what happens to you, but you're responsible for your healing journey. This is not blame. This is empowerment, okay? This is not about blaming you or trying to judge you, because ownership returns power to you. When we stay in victim mode, we stay stuck. When we take ownership, we begin rebuilding. Ownership sounds like I cannot change the past, but I can choose how I respond today. I cannot change the past. No matter how you brood, no matter what you do, you can't change the past. The past is the past. It has happened. We can't rectify that. We can't change it. But I can choose how I respond today. Healing begins when responsibility meets possibility. So if I may ask you, what part of your healing journey do you need to take greater ownership of? Or are you waiting for someone to heal you? I know people who think their father or somebody in the family offended them 27 years ago, 20 years ago, and they refuse to forgive, they refuse to let go. And they are not moving forward in life. Those people are enjoying what? So I want you to type on if you are ready to take responsibility for your part of the process as we move on, okay? So the last is realign daily. Realign daily. R is realign. Everything we have said will really matters if it becomes part of your everyday life. Because like I always say, it's a cycle. Your values, your identity, your purpose, and your daily action begin to align. And that alignment is what makes transformation stable instead of temporary. This is the final step. So trauma often pulls people away from the authentic identity. Like I said, because I was traumatized, I was thinking I was a trash instead of treasure. It distorts how they see themselves. Some begin by believing I'm not enough, I'm unlovable, I will never recover, I will always be broken. Realignment means returning to truth of the original, where you ought to be, what you ought to be, returning to purpose, returning to identity, returning to God's perspective of you. I've called you treasure. That's what God told me. It means aligning your life to with who you truly are, rather than what happens to you. For those who are of faith, let me tell you something. Romans 12:2, as a reminder, says, be transformed by the renewing of your minds. So what healing does is replacing lies with truth. And this is the truth. Your wounds may be part of your story, but they are not your identity. Your wounds may be part of your story, but okay, they're not your identity. So if I may ask again, what truth about yourself do you need to embrace again? What truth about yourself do you need to embrace again? And if you are live here, I want you to comment aligned. If you are committing to realign your daily life around your healing, starting now. Now. So in summary, trauma-informed coaching matters because healing requires more than information. It requires understanding. It requires safety, compassion, intentional transformation. Remember the word anchor. Remember the word anchor. Acknowledge the truth about what happened. Name, identify the wound beneath the struggle. C, care, extend compassion to yourself. And H, add a new direction. Okay? Take intentional healing steps. Take ownership for your healing journey. You are responsible for your healing. R is to realign, return to truth, purpose, and identity. Okay? So what I want you to do this week, okay? I want you to do something this week for yourself. Write one response under each letter of anchor. What do you need to acknowledge? What do you need to name? How can you care for yourself? What new direction is needed? What must you own? Where do you need realignment? I want you to write it down. That's your assignment for the week. You may discover that your healing journey becomes clearer than it has been in a very, very, very long time. And as we close today, okay, if something in today's teaching resonated with you, remember this: your story is not evidence that you are broken. It may simply be a sign that you need a framework that helps you understand, process, and navigate your healing journey with greater clarity and intention. That is the work we do inside Healing from Within. So if you would like to explore what next step could look like, I invite you, okay, to schedule a free clarity call at fsm.online. I have the QR code. Yeah, so you can just link up. And if this teaching encourages you, please share it with someone who may be walking through a season of healing, transition, or recovery. You don't have to remain in survival mode. Healing is possible. Growth is possible. Transformation is possible. I've been through it, and that is why I'm doing what I do. So I want to invite you to explore the coaching resources and healing opportunities available through the transformation experience. And before we go, I want you to comment anchor if this teaching met you where you are today. And before we go, I always like to end the session with prayer. You never know who can need it, okay? So I want us to pray. Father, I thank you for every person watching and listening today. I pray that you will meet them right where they are, in the middle of acknowledging, naming, caring for, and healing what they've carried for too long. Lord, give them the courage, oh Lord, to head in the new direction. You are calling them toward the strength to truly own their part of their journey and the grace to realign their daily lives around your healing and your purpose for them. Where there is pain, bring peace. Where there is confusion, let there be clarity. Where there is fear, let there be perfect love, your perfect love. We thank you that healing is not weakness, but strength, and that you are nearer to the brokenhearted and binding up every wound right now in the name of Jesus. That person that is still tight, holding it tight in their heart, I pray that God will give you the grace to release and let go. And you take ownership of your healing in the name of Jesus. Healing is for you, it's not for them. Okay? Okay, so by the way, I'm Dr. DTO. And until next time, keep growing, keep healing, and keep becoming. God bless you.
Are you ready to heal? Ready to grow? It's time to transform. Step into who you're meant to be.